Hello everyone, namaste. My name's Bill Austin. I'm a spiritual healer, teacher, artist, and visionary living in St. Petersburg, Florida, in the United States. My main website is www.healingholograms.com. This is going to be a YouTube presentation about energetic dynamics, about relationships, and I'm just going to make a number of little points about this based on my experience of working with clients on relationships and based on my own experience with relationships as well. First of all, it's really important to communicate with love from the heart. When you have an issue with a loved one or a relationship, if you're triggered, don't speak to them, don't write to them, don't do anything when you're emotionally triggered, because what happens is they pick up on your emotional triggeredness, and they get triggered, then you get triggered again. It becomes this horrible game, this no-win game, where you both get triggered, and and a lot of hurt has happened because people remember those experiences, and it's real important. If you can't, it's very important to work on yourself energetically to get to a really good space before you have a hard talk with someone. And when you communicate with love from the heart, they recognize that on a lot of levels. Now, I think that there are like three critical relationships that you have that are really important to the quality of life you create. One is your relationship with yourself. Second one's your relationship with your body, and the third one's your relationship with money. If you have a good relationship with yourself, you tend to attract people into your life that will honor and support who you are. If you have a good relationship with your body, you tend to be in good health, and you tend to say really good things about your body and reinforce the good health. And if you have a good relationship with money, you A, tend to have more money, and B, you tend to have more peace of mind about money. And so you're more attracted to money because you're not worried or anxious about it, so you don't repel it from you. As many of you know, I'm a real believer in self-love and self-acceptance, and I really believe that that if we have the problem in ourselves that we don't love and accept an aspect of ourselves, it will be pictured out in our outer world. And in order to heal that pattern, we can't heal it in the outer world. We actually have to go within and do the work of self-love and acceptance to heal that pattern before it can be healed in the outer world. The outer world is the effect. The inner world is the cause. So if you want to have a life that works on the outside, you always have to work from the inside outside. It doesn't work the opposite way. A lot of people get confused and they work on the effect level, but that doesn't affect the cause. So you might heal it on the effect level, then it'll come back because it hasn't been healed on the cause level. One of the great tools that we have for loving and accepting ourselves is forgiveness, and I talk about forgiveness in other places, but basically we all have emotional wounds and trauma and stuff within ourselves that we really need to forgive ourselves. And a lot of times when we have this emotional wounding, we attract into our life people that will emotionally wound us again. And so a lot of times, like, our forgiveness issues we think are with the people outside, but it's really healing that pattern of emotional woundedness inside. And when we forgive and heal ourselves inside, then we A, no longer attract those people who are going to heal and wound us, and B, we heal a lot of those relationships, because a lot of those relationships come because our soul magnetizes them to us so that we do the inner work of healing them. Closely related to this is what I call the mirror effect. Basically our outer world is a mirror of our inner world. So the people that you really like in your life, a lot of times you like them because they share a lot of your good qualities. The people you dislike in your life, a lot of times you dislike them because they share a lot of your bad qualities. So look at the world as a mirror, and if there are things in the mirror you don't like, look within yourself and fix it. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you don't really, that you can't change the mirror itself. That's not where the problem is. The problem's within. So we live also in a society that really values people pleasers. Like, as children, we're trained to please our parents so that we can get goodies. We can get chocolate and sodas, and we can go to Disney World, and we can get the toys that we want and the computer games we want. And then when we go to school, we learn how to please the teachers so we can get good grades. We learn how to please our friends so that we can have friends. And then when we graduate from school, we spend our lives trying to please our bosses so we get more money, try to please our partner so we get sex, try to please our children so they'll stop bugging us. We try to please people. And what happens when you try to please other people is you often change yourself to please other people, and you have to give your power away to other people. And you look outside yourself for validation and approval when the only one that can really change, you can only change yourself. You can't change other people. So instead of spending all that energy trying to please others, you really should work on healing yourself. And then you'll attract people into your life that will accept you for who you are. If you accept and love yourself for who you are, then other people will accept and love you for who you are, and you won't need to please them to get their approval. Closely related to this is the pattern of trying to save and rescue other people. We hear a lot about how horrible it is to be a victim. We don't hear so much how horrible it is to be a hero. But, the victim, rescuer, hero dynamic is a duality conscious dynamic. It's the same dynamic of the winner loser. And what you really want to be is you really want to be in your power, living in the now moment, calm, detached, and neutral no matter what is going on around you. You don't really want to jump in and save and rescue others, and the only people that can save or rescue people are themselves. A lot of times people create this dynamic, create a crisis for themselves so that they can take their power and learn and grow from it. And then people go in and intervene and they try to rescue and save them and they give away the power, and a lot of times they don't learn the lesson. So then they attract another drama and they create another situation where they get into trouble so that they can, and all this is to force them to go within and heal themselves. The other thing is about this is when you're with someone, they will impact you one of three ways. They will either raise your energy level will be flat when you're with them, or they will decrease your energy level. When you're with people and your energy level rises, you could be with them for hours and it seems like 5 minutes. Time flies. What's happening is you're transmitting love to them, they're transmitting love to you. It's a real nice dynamic. There's all this love energy going back and forth, and you're both rising higher and higher as kites. Now, most of the people you pray will be energetically neutral too, so it means that when you're with them, your energy will stay pretty much the same. And then the ones that you really have to worry about are what I call the energy vampires. And the energy vampires are the takers of life. You transmit love to them and they take it, and then they just give you a little bit of it back. Transmit love to them, they take it, just get a little bit back. And at the end of it, it seems like if you're just with them for 5 minutes, it seems like 5 hours, and you feel totally depleted and burned out. And the funny thing is, they feel really high and excited and happy because they've grabbed a lot of your energy and love, and they haven't getting anything back. So they love hanging out with you, and a lot of people don't even realize the dynamic. But you hate it. On many levels, you don't really like them because they're taking energy away and they're not getting anything back, and so you deplete yourself energetically when you're with them. But a lot of times you don't even realize what happens. My mom had several friends like this when I was growing up. She'd be on conversations with them for hours, and her energy would be pretty high before she got in the conversation. And then she'd hang up the phone, and she'd just be tired and drained and want to go to bed. Talking about mothers, I've noticed in my life that, and in my own personal life, early on, when I began dating and with people, a lot of times the person I was dating or attracted to was very much like my parents, one of my parents. And I realized that what's going on is I had forgiveness issues with my parents that I hadn't healed, so I was very magnetic to attracting relationships with people that had the same sort of energy as my parents. And it's sort of interesting to date people like your mother, but that's probably not the most divine ideal type of relationship for you. So you'd be better off on working on healing and forgiving your mother. And then you'll find that all those people that are like your mother drop out of your life, your romantic life, and you begin attracting people who are more whole and complete and, funner to be with. Many of you who are listening to this are empaths, and what that means is you take on energy, often unconsciously, from other people and even from the planet. So it's really important that you, each night before you go to bed, it's really important that you just ask the Creator to clear, heal, and release any energies that you took on from other people. If you feel that you're taking on energy from other people on the planet, you really need to look at your boundaries and set good energetic boundaries and do some shielding and clearing work. And if you don't know how to do it, learn. I have some clearing YouTube presentations. A lot of this is just basic energy healing one-on-one stuff. Now, the secret is, a lot of times people feel that, they want to say, a lot of healers want to save them up and rescue other people. A lot of times people think that, if they take on some other people's stuff, it will take it away from them, and then they can work on healing it themselves. And what happens when you take on other people's stuff is you just add to your stuff. They're still responsible for their stuff. You just made life harder for yourself, and you haven't made life easier for the other person. So if you have the habit of taking on other people's stuff, look at that and begin to wean yourself away from it, because it's not really your stuff, and you're just making life harder for yourself. This concludes my discussion of energetic dynamics of relationships. I thank you for listening. Namaste.